Yes! Hey guys, welcome to the Cosmic Panel, where this week we're going to be discussing our polls for September 20th. But yeah, we got some sick picks. I really had to narrow down my list for this week. I don't know about you, Elias, but yeah, I had a tough time choosing this week. Anyway, let's get right into this. Elias, what's your first pick?
Let's see. My very first pick for this week is Hawkgirl number 3. This series has been really refreshing. Some new characters and a new light on Hawkgirl with a very interesting villain. I think that this has been very strong in both the art and writing department, giving us kind of a fantastical narration of Hawkgirl's plight in this, and giving us a new supernatural villain for her to go up against. So yeah, I've been enjoying this. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. The characterization of Hawkgirl, or Kendra, as she's better known now, was cool. I think that's interesting that we're really getting into what makes up her wings and kind of condensing her backstory in a unique way. But yeah, interested to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. What is up first for you?
First up for me is The Vigil, number 5. I've been really enjoying the series. I think the series has progressed every issue, and I think it's really grown on me. First issue was an overall broad overview of the team, and then we kind of dealt into each member individually, Arclight, Saya, and Dodge. And now we're getting into Castle, who is the youngest member of the team that's only 12 years old, but is also super genius. And last issue, we had revealed basically that the Doctor is the reason why all these characters are the way they are. He quote unquote created them, and I don't necessarily understand what that means.
My theory right now is that there's something mystical going on. Basically, when he visited that other realm that first time, I think he said Hep was the name of the adversary. It looks like he maybe made a deal with that guy to create this team and make these characters. And based on the landscape of that first time the Doctor went in there, it seems like some sort of mystical landscape. So that's kind of my theory right now, is that he created them and made a deal with a very powerful mystical being. But yeah, this has been really interesting and a very fun team book with lots of cool abilities, and I'm excited to see it progress.
Yeah, no, it's a great version basically of a Spec Ops team that we are kind of sorely missing within the DC universe right now, especially with the current disbandment of the Suicide Squad. This kind of fits in that hole nicely, I think, personally, while not being the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone has a unique power set, and they really make you care about everyone's personalities and character. So it's been very cool.
Plus, Dodge was so cool last issue.
Yeah, Dodge is awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm loving how they're like really showing just how powerful each member is, but like just by themselves, and then kind of just giving them that room to grow.
I like to call Castle a super sociopath.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I feel like. What's next for you?
Next up for me is Uncanny Spider-Man number 1. This unfortunately got delayed a little bit, but nonetheless, I'm very curious to see where Nightcrawler is during all this Fall of X stuff. I'm loving this suit on the cover here. I hope that we do get that inside at some point. But yeah, Cy Spurrier, no longer Simon Spurrier, Cy Spurrier is leading this book, and I have great confidence in him, especially when it comes to Nightcrawler. So yeah, very curious to see what this book contains.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think the most interesting part I'm gonna have is whether or not Nightcrawler is gonna use web swinging. I think that'd be very funny to see Kurt try to learn how to web swing. Because otherwise, then he's not really fitting the part of being Spider-Man. I feel like if he doesn't have the web shooters. So I hope we get a montage of him failing and just smacking into buildings. That'd be very funny. But yeah, Nightcrawler has kind of just he left Krakoa last we saw, and we haven't seen him in a minute. We didn't know what happened to him after the Hellfire Gala. If he even we just knew he wasn't there, and now we're kind of seeing that he's kind of decided to just be Spider-Man, I guess.
We got a singular panel in the Hellfire Gala of him resisting, and that was it. So we don't know where he is. It just looked like he was in New York or something like that. So
Yeah, pretty strange.
yeah, what's next up for you?
Next up for me is Green Lantern War Journal #1. Philip Kennedy Johnson just still expanding the DC universe. One of the few writers I feel like right now that is really bouncing between Marvel and DC very seamlessly without a drop in quality. But yeah, it seems like each week we got a Philip Kennedy FKJ book to praise, or PKJ. I wrote FK, I said FKJ.
FKJ
no.
Twigs.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I read the latest Green Lantern issue, and I read the little short side story about John, and how basically there's this all-powerful version of John from an alternate dimension, and this Earth Zero version of John will now be dealing with that version's enemy, who I think is tied to the Black Lantern ring / the Ultraviolet ring. Which, if you didn't know, during the most recent Scott Snyder run, John became an ultraviolet lantern, which basically is a lantern that's fueled by shame. His shame being the fact that he let a planet die. But that's been huge character development for him where he overcame that. So it'll be interesting to see who is this new villain that's kind of lurking in the shadows. And also, this is the strongest we've ever seen John. John is quite literally the strongest lantern right now. So to fight against him, you gotta be pretty strong.
Yeah, I am feeling good about this series following a much stronger Green Lantern #3, a much stronger Green Lantern issue. And yeah, I'm very curious to see what John is up to. He's just such an interesting lantern with a lot of great characters. So
Yeah.
very excited to see this book.
And how many characters can say that they got their powers from Jack Kirby?
Yeah,
Just saying.
exactly.
Jack Kirby himself gave him the Godstorm, so pretty hyped to see more of it used.
Yeah. Next up for me is Loki #4. This is the final issue of the Loki miniseries, and I've been enjoying it, honestly. I've really been liking it. Each issue has sort of been like a mini adventure of Loki trying to get a piece of the ship back, and the ship has taken many different forms throughout. So every issue has its own nuances and own mystery about it. And this past issue was really crazy.
Yeah,
Basically,
it was really good.
time travel was involved, and this piece of the Naglfar, I'm not sure if that's the correct way to say it, but exploded and just created a sun for an entire planet, which is pretty nuts. So that issue was super interesting, and they've been building up to this final piece being on Earth, and it looks like a villain has finally claimed it, and it looks like that's Bullseye. So this is going to be very interesting, and yeah, just a very fun Loki series. Yeah, Loki's been showing up in a lot of stuff recently. The Scarlet Witch issue, which I thought he was very strong in, or they were very strong in. So
yeah, I love the Battle
good.
of Truths. That was that was cool. That was a cool way to, and like I like that Scarlet's like maybe in another life we could have had something, but no.
Yeah, no, it was a very well written issue. So yeah, Loki's been killing it recently. So excited to see this series wrap up. Only 4 issues instead of 5.
Yeah,
but it's been strong.
Yeah, next up for me is Hexagon Bridge #1. This cover, very, very unique. I don't know why. It draws me in. I'm immediately perplexed. And I like the format. That is a very, very, I love how bare bones it is. I love its title, name, issue 1 price image, and that's it. There's no extra beating around the bush. There's nothing. It's just very straightforward. 2, it's written and drawn by one person that has not done anything before. This is literally their first book ever, which is crazy that you're getting not only just working on a comic for your first book ever. One of the big, I would say big three. I kind of want to say Image is now one of the big three, but that's just personal opinion. But yeah, to even, let alone to even work on a book, but to actually write and draw your own book, is nuts. But on top of that, this artist has been highly recommended. Apparently, this person got their job because Jonathan Hickman was so astounded by their art style and their writing that quite literally he was like, "You guys need to sign this person." And I've never heard Jonathan Hickman ever recommend anyone. So that already is like lighting up stuff in my brain. But outside of all that, the art just looks really good. And the story genuinely looks interesting because it's about parallel dimension hopping and dealing with basically physics, broken physics, and I'm getting a little bit of like mirror dimension vibes from Doctor Strange from the story, at least from the summary and the art that I've seen. So I'm interested to see how far this is going to push it because, I mean, this is a big risk that Image is taking and they seem pretty committed to it.
Yeah, this looks very interesting. I do love the cover in it as well. Very curious to see what this is like.
Anyway, what's next for you?
Next up for me is Dark X-Men #2. This is corny, but a dark horse from the Fall of X line of books. I was not expecting this to be so strong. This was really high stakes, really interesting character inclusion, and really cool team ups. First
a lot of
issue,
deep cuts.
yeah, a lot of deep cuts, but I really enjoyed it. And Havoc is in critical condition at the end of last issue, so it's a pretty intense book. A lot of characters and storylines that are kind of coming together. And yeah, I really enjoyed the first issue, so I'm excited to read the second.
Yeah, plus we're getting some tie-in to series that really never got a conclusion and ending to their conclusion. One of the characters being from Children of the Atom, Gimmick, which is pretty cool that we're kind of getting a resolution to so many storylines in these side stories that I want to say authors kind of forgot, to be honest. But yeah, this team isn't really a team also, which I kind of like. I like the fact that they all kind of like, they're just like, fuck off, like, let me do my own thing. I want to kill these people, and that's all I want to do, and all I care about. But yeah, no, I'm very interested.
What's next up for you?
Next up for me is Big Game #3. What a fucking crazy ass second issue. I was genuinely not expecting him to kill that many fucking characters off. I was definitely not expecting him to kill Ambassadors, the entire Ambassadors team. So yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do now. I genuinely don't know what the fuck they can even do. Like they got some characters still, but like the most powerful ones are kind of off the table now, which is yikes. I'm hoping that Nightclub is not gonna die. I really enjoy that group, but at the same time, there's kind of like nothing off the table at this point. Like they kind of threw my expectations out as soon as they killed off the ambassadors. And it seems pretty concrete. Like the only way I can see them even like saving everyone is if they time travel back, which they got the Chrononauts out of the way, so can't even do that.
Yeah, I love Pepe Larraz. I love his art. Issue 2 still had me a little skeptical of this series. It is only a 5-issue mini, so I'm curious as to what the end goal of the series is. Because, yeah, basically, issue 2, they just killed a shit ton of heroes. And it's like, and didn't really advance the plot any one way. So I'm just curious what Mark Millar's like end goal is here. If he's trying to like launch a new line of stuff after this, I'm sure that is probably the goal. But
Clean
yeah,
up the universe, quote unquote.
yeah, I'm curious to see how this progresses for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested.
All right, my final pick is, of course, Uncanny Avengers #2. I thought that this was a great return to the Uncanny Avengers form, and was equal parts interesting and fun, and also dramatic and intense. Issue 1 ends with a very simple but effective cliffhanger of Captain Krakoa just snapping Cap's arm. So now Cap's arm is broken, which is pretty bad, especially for his shield throwing arm. And yeah, I'm very curious to continue this series. I've really been enjoying it. And we don't know who Captain Krakoa is yet. So I'm also very curious to get to the bottom of that mystery.
You got any theories?
Not really. It's sort of one of those things where it doesn't have to be someone. It could just be an engineered, sinister experiment. Like, it doesn't have to be a specific person. So I'm curious if they're going to make it a character or just be an experiment, because MODOK and Sinister clearly seem to have a lot invested in this character when they woke him up. So yeah.
So you want to hear who I think it is?
Sure.
I think it's the original Baron Zemo. I think that would be a unique twist because he was immediately down to kill the mutants. He knows Cap. He knows how to kind of infiltrate, and he knows this world. So Baron Zemo, the original one, died earlier, but he still lived and saw the age of heroes basically. So he knows what he's dealing with. So I feel and plus any opportunity to kill the U.S., he would take it. He would be down.
That's interesting. I don't know. I sort of get a cockiness about him that only feels American to me. But I do think the Cap thing is valid, but I don't think Zemo is exactly a mutant hater directly, unless they're just saying because he's a Nazi he would hate mutants too. But that's interesting. And there's, if I'm not mistaken, a couple Baron Zemos now. So,
but yeah, I think it would be interesting either way.
Yeah. What is your final pick, Lucas?
My final pick is Something is Killing the Children. Number 33. Last issue was amazing. Genuinely, probably one of the best single issues I've read in so long. It's simple. It is a very, very simple issue. It is a conversation in a singular flashback. And that sounds boring as fuck. But somehow the art and the dialogue makes it so interesting. There was no action this issue. Basically, you just had one of the characters come over to Erica and be like, I want you to kill Cutter and make her suffer because she killed one of the few people I genuinely care about. And you get this sense of raw emotion that you hadn't expected from this character. This character has been brutal the entire fucking time. Still fucking hates Erica. She is fine if Erica dies. She literally gives no fucks. But she hates Cutter more because Cutter took someone from her that she genuinely cared about. So it's this interesting situation where she's helping Erica, but she doesn't give a fuck if Erica survives. And Erica gets this moment where she finally breaks down. She finally has this moment where she kind of addresses the fact that she lost her only father figure she had left. And he was killed because she asked for his help. And it's this really brutal moment. The way he died was he died on the phone with her and Cutter slit his throat. And it's this thing that most, as a stoic character, you don't expect them to react to it, or you do expect them to react to it a little bit and then not break down later. But Erica fully breaks down, and it's this really heart-wrenching moment. And yeah, the series is a slow burn, but when it hits, man, It's it hits hard. It hits hard. It pulls at the heartstrings, and yeah, no, I don't know what to expect now because I was expecting us to get to the fight, and literally they were just like, nope, here's actual emotional weight.
Right. Well, I'm glad it's still going strong.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to me that this series is 33 issues in because
Yeah.
it's still killing it. Still, and technically we're only in the second major saga. I guess you could put it as a saga, but it feels like a major arc. Um, like this is only the second mission Erica has been on. This is only the second monster she's hunted down. Like that we've seen at least. So it's like like it shouldn't be working. Like this slow of a burn should not be working, yet it does. And it makes no sense. But James Tynion, he's doing it, and yeah, excited to see what happens.
Yeah. Right on.
So thank you guys for checking out our polls. Tell us down below what you guys are reading. Comment down below what books you're enjoying, what books you're checking out. Remember to like, subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read comics. Till next time.